best friend for 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend for 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owlet. Feels so good to say that after so long. It's been a minute since we've had you all here. Been since season 3.5 grand finals, but now we are finally kicking off season 3.9 with some preseason action. I'm very, very excited to present this game to you. It's going to be Absolute Monstrosity versus Everfrost. And joining me in the booth tonight is going to be Razorblade04. Razor, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and I'm really excited to see how this match will start to kick off season 3.9. And how do you think this game will play out with the recent Sigma changes coming in?
Well, yeah, no, there's been a lot of meta changes, or not actually, there hasn't been a lot of meta changes very recently. You know, the Sigma ball comp has been meta for a very, very long time. Now, I believe we're going on about 3 months of this monstrosity of a comp. And, you know, we recently touched Sigma and ball in the most recent patch. And honestly, the ball changes weren't much. We were talking about this before the show. You know, the ball changes, shields from 100 to 75 doesn't really change how the character plays at all. And so I don't think that part of the comp is going to play very differently. You know, that dive trio of the Echo, the Tracer, the ball, they're going to play pretty much exactly the same. Ball is just going to be slightly worse at his role in that comp, right? But, you know, Sigma getting that shield change, you know, dropping it from 1 second to, I believe, 2.5 seconds for the redeploy, that's a pretty big change, right? Because the way this comp plays, you know, you have your Sigma, your ball, your dive group really get in there and get on the enemy team, while the core of your roster, that Brig, that Zen, that Sigma, they push forward with that shield. And that shield being so much worse now is greatly going to impact how well that core roster can play.
That's definitely it, and I'm very excited to see what these teams are going to bring out on this first map here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we've gotten our map pick yet, but our map pool is going to be Nepal, Lijiang, and Oasis for this season of Owlet. So one of those maps will be played here. I think the Sigma ball composition will be seen on any of those, but of course, you know how control works with those, you know, 3 maps, different map meta on each one. So we'll see some different things no matter what map we get here. I'm really excited to see what these teams pull out as well. You know, the Sigma ball is what we expect, but you know, recent balance changes, you know, maybe one of these teams tries to pull something out. It's a little bit different.
And we'll see. And this will definitely set the tone for the rest of the season, seeing how this first match proceeds. Now, with the DPS line, with the tank line no longer consisting of Sigma, a lot of the DPS is most likely going to be different. And how do you think that's going to play out along with the support lines?
Well, that's a really good question. I think you bring up a good point, though. You know, Sigma is possibly out of the meta. I think what we would see if Sigma does end up being out of the meta would be that Diva. You know, the ball Diva dive is something that was it was good for a little bit as like a niche comp, especially against like things like goats. It was good. Even against double shield, it saw some play. You know, the Sigma, what it did is it kind of allowed Zen to play like a DPS and play in that backline and like have a shield, play like a sniper, right? But if Diva is in there now, Diva's going to have a much, much different role, right? Because then they're going to need to be part of the dive rather than part of that core roster. So the Brig and the Zen are kind of going to be needing to play high grounds, need to play cover, playing very, very far away from the fight, and just trying to find angles that they can find value on, as opposed to being able to stick with a Sigma that can always keep them alive and always keep them up, and being able to push into fights when their dive makes space for them. So I think it will change things just a little bit. But again, we have to see if the Sigma changes were actually enough to get him out of the meta, because he's still a really, really good character with all that damage, that stun, that kinetic grasp, all very, very good abilities. So I think there's still a possibility that he could be in the meta.
Absolutely, and we are going to now head into our first map here on Nepal. Both teams just getting ready to set up, head on to the first point.
Yeah, Nepal's a very, very strange map. I don't really like this map very much. I think it can be a very, very boring map. I think snipers, I don't really like, or I should say I really like control, because I don't really have to face any snipers, but there are points like Nepal Sanctum that we're going into right now where snipers are good, and I just don't like that. When I queue into a control map, I want to have a nice, actually fun game of Overwatch with no Hanzos, no Ashes, no Widows. But you know, without fail, there's always one damage boosted Ash on the enemy team just clicking my head, and I just don't really enjoy it.
Well, as you say that, we are going to see the Hanzo and the Ashe both coming out. The Sigma pick is still there with the Orisa on one side and the ball on the other. And as we get ready to roll out onto this first point, we're gonna see the support lines of Brig Zen on one side with the Baptiste and the Brig and the other. And we are gonna get a pause here.
Huge pause,
and we're
huge.
It seems like somebody has disconnected, so we are just going to take a quick break. And while we wait, we are going to. Do you want to talk about the comps that we see running out here? Because we were seeing two Sigma still very heavily on both teams.
Well, yeah, no, we do see the Sigma ball from the side of, I believe that's Everfrost. Yes, that's Everfrost. Excuse me. We have Wrecking Ball on the, wait for it, Wrecking Ball. Never would have guessed that myself, to be honest. That's kind of a surprise right there. But we do see the Ash Tracer come out from the DPS line of Logan and Keandre. Something that I do want to point out, though, is that Ash also recently got touched. I believe her damage was brought down, and that messes with her threshold, right? The damage boost on the Ash no longer helps her one-shot squishy heroes, I believe. Or else it has to be a very, very close range for it to work. So she's a little bit worse now, but it looks like Everfrost is compensating for this without running the Mercy, right? So when you run that Mercy instead of that Brig, you give up a little bit of survivability for your Zen, but they're choosing to run it and just run the Ash Raw with no damage boost. So it looks like they're just going for those big dynamites and big damage without that Mercy boost.
And that's going to be especially big against the double shield comp of Absolute. And the Sigma is immediately going to get pooped in by the Wrecking Ball, and the link has to be used early. It gets immediately taken down by Everfrost and Absolute Monstrosity just holding this bridge here. Everfrost can't really get into a good position for this, but Logan is chipping away at these shields very, very quickly, even though with Wrecking Ball causing a lot of chaos in the backline. But
no Soul will finally fall there. They have that good position right now, but they don't have the point. That's something they need to formulate a pusher soon before they just get picked off by this pick-off.
Yeah, and the lamp is going to have to keep coming out here from the dive from Wrecking Ball, and they can't really sustain with the shots from Logan into the side. And they're going to just get absolute monstrosity. It's just going to get pushed out here by Everfrost. And you see Logan's been doing so much work on that Ashe, already has the Bob before anyone else. With compared to Tex, who is only 66% of the way to his High Noon, and Scooter, who's only 75% to the Dragon Strike. Keandre on the side, he's just gonna get spotted out by Tex, and the Matrix gonna come out from absolute monstrosity. Wrecking Ball tries to go in with the boot, but he is gonna get stopped. But he with a big pulse bomb here.
No point camp will come through here for absolute monstrosity. They had a chance there when the Bob was off the point, but they had lost a little bit too much, and this tick comp will prevail one more time. I'm not really liking this double shield comp. I thought it could have some value, but especially on this map where it's pretty good, but it does look like they will be opting for the ball sig. The only difference now in the comps will be that the ult economy heavily favors Everfrost, and that Scooter is going to be on the Hanzo, while Logan is on that Ashe.
Absolutely, and now they absolute monstrosity don't have that fault for the Dragon Strike, so Scooter's just gonna have to send with a Royal Wrecking Ball, and no, just battling it out here. Absolute monstrosity gonna try to take the point, but Wrecking Ball is gonna put the mines down to deny that space. Logan is getting built here, but he's gonna stay alive with the help of his break, who isn't a rally skate. Kupa with the flood speed out does take care of Wrecking Ball. Donut Puncher does get Rita. It looks like absolute monstrosity are in control of the point. They are gonna get the flip, and it looks like Everfrost is gonna have to take a reset here.
Oh, and River Trash kind of lets himself get staggered there. Probably should have just, went in and fed and gotten out there so that he could regroup his team sooner, but ends up falling there a little bit late. That's going to allow a little bit more percent to come through for absolute monstrosity, though I don't know how much it's going to help them. They don't really have that many ults, and the side of Everfrost is sporting 5 ultimates right now. This is going to be a really hard fight here for absolute monstrosity to win. They're going to have to play this absolutely perfectly if they want to survive this all.
Yeah, one of their DPS is going to come up huge, but Rita's Flux is going to get cancelled by Boom, and that's going to come up big already. That's one ult gone, but Keynote is going to take down Boom. He's going to miss the stick, but Jet Brave has already gone down to the opposing break. The Dragon Strike is going to come out from Scooter. It's a do-or-die situation here from Absolute Monstrosity, but they've already lost 3. Everfrost has already used all their ults, but it's not going to matter because they have the kills. They are going to have a retake, and it's going to be a final fight here for Absolute Monstrosity. I don't know if they're even going to get a touch, and that's going to be round 1 going to Everfrost.
Yeah, Everfrost here with a very commanding victory on this first round of Nepal. I have to admit, Absolute Monstrosity did have a chance there, but they kind of played a little bit too close, in my opinion. One of the advantages of this pick comp on Sanctum is you can sit the core of your roster pretty far back on overlooking the point and stay there because point doesn't have any cover. So if the enemy wants to win the fight, they actually have to ignore point and actually come kill you first before they can worry about point. And it makes it really hard to push into, but they didn't do that. They went up to that first choke as they were playing like double shield or brawl, and they tried to hold it, and the pick comp just found a way around it very, very easily. They got their flankers in the back line, got some kills, and it just fell apart there for Absolute Monstrosity. So we're gonna have to see them put something a little bit better together here if they want to get back into this round.
Absolutely, and they already seem to be making those adjustments with no blood on that Hog, and Koopa still on that Sigma. The DPS line is going to be the Hanzo Tracer from both teams, and it looks like Wrecking Ball and Key are going to be looking for that dive from the side. It looks like but Absolute Monstrosity has them scouted out. Key has to use the recall very early, and now they're caught in a very awkward position. The Tracer duel going to be won by Tex here. Both teams rolling it out on the point here. Wrecking Ball just going to be rolling around, going to get stopped by that rig. And Absolute Monstrosity is going to get the first cap with a pretty well-executed dive on that first push.
Really, really good job there by Tex winning that 1v1 against Keandre there. The ball was there, but it looked like they were looking for more of a grapple than anything else. We are going to see Wrecking Ball actually switch off the Wrecking Ball and go over to the Orisa. So it looks now like we'll be getting a double shield look from the side of Everfrost. We haven't seen this yet. They did run the Sigma ball pretty much all of last map. So we got a little bit of an interesting comp here. It's mostly like a double shield spam comp, but they still have that Tracer for the flanks, for the pressure on the backline and for on Scooter, the sniper. So we'll have to see how they can put this together here. This is going to be a very, very challenging fight for them because they can't really take off against comp like this.
Yep, Everfrost and Wrecking Ball immediately going to get hooked. And look at that shield break coming out from the Hanzo and from the Hog. The Lamp going to get forced out early, and I think they're having some of the same problems that Absolute Monstrosity faced running this comp last round, especially with the open point.
Pulse Bomb is going to find blood, though. This could be a flip, though. There is a rally out from Jet Gravy, though, so it looks like the side of Everfrost is just going to back out a little bit here, try to take it easy.
And Absolute Monstrosity is just going to want to play this slow. The Flux is going to come up from Brita, catches 3. It's big, and Everfrost is going to actually get this flip with 66% built up for Absolute Monstrosity.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like that was best case scenario there for Absolute Monstrosity, though, because you know that fight was probably losable anyway, and then they used the Flux, which is one of their best ultimates in this comp. So now they only have the High Noon and the Window and the Trans. Like, you're fine here if you're Absolute Monstrosity. You have the ult advantage, and you just got to push into this point. If you can formulate a good push here and find value with your ultimates, you should be able to win this fight.
Absolutely, and Wrecking Ball goes back to the Wrecking Ball after the Orisa. He didn't like that pick, apparently. And now Absolute Monstrosity going to be now pushing onto the point. Hoopa's going to go with the Flux, catches 1. And the Trans also comes out from Liam. Counter Trans coming out from Donut. And the kills are in favor of Everfrost. Looks like they're going to be holding on to the point for now. But a lot of ults used on both sides.
Yeah, all we're going to have available now are the Pulse Bombs for both teams and 1 tank ult each. There's going to be the whole Hog on the side of Absolute Monstrosity with the Mines on the side of Everfrost. And right now, Everfrost has complete control of this point and of this round. These Mines are really, really good on this point because a lot of the entrances to the point are very narrow, and you can split teams very, very easily with those Mines, even in a comp like this where it plays very split. And Keandre has been pretty good with those pulses so far. So Everfrost is in a really good spot.
Absolutely, and they're going to have to play this very well if they want to retake this, keep this round going. Kino forces out the Immortality field early. Tex takes a lot of damage, can't really engage into that Zen. Scooter just playing back, and the kills are coming in favor of Everfrost. They're most likely going to hold this point, and they didn't really have to use any ults besides that Pulse Bomb here.
Be a late Lucio swap try to get back from Absolute Monstrosity, but I don't think anyone is going to be able to touch. Possibly, not quite. And Everfrost will hold the point, while Absolute Monstrosity will hold that L. Very, very decisive first point for Everfrost. Kind of felt like it was in their control the whole time. Absolute Monstrosity had that, moment at the start of the map where they were, or the start of this map, where they were holding it pretty well. They had the advantage. They won like 2 fights, and then they gave it up right here to this Flux. And it didn't really seem like they could formulate a push after that. I kind of feel like they're not communicating very well. One of the big keystones of this composition is the ball and the Tracer need to be working together, diving together, getting in the backline together, and putting like actual pressure on the backline of the enemy team. But it doesn't really feel like Absolute Monstrosity is doing that. It doesn't really feel like the Tracer is talking to the ball. It doesn't really feel like they're going in together. And because of that, the core of the roster is really, really suffering. They're really struggling to get some room to work with, really struggling to get that space to get those kills. And Everfrost is just playing it a lot better right now.
Absolutely. Everfrost had a very commanding control over that round. And as we go into the next map set, which is going to be Escort, and Absolute Monstrosity is going to have this map pick. With the map pool that we have of Rialto, Route 66, and Junkertown, what do you think is going to be Absolute Monstrosity's best pick to try and win this next round?
Honestly, that's one of the best parts about free season, right? Is we don't know anything about these teams, so that's kind of up in the air right now. We don't know what these teams want to run, what comps they want to stick to, and what maps they're good on. So I'm really excited to see what they want to pull out here. Junkertown hasn't been in the map pool very recently. I haven't seen pro play on Junkertown since like old double shield meta. Like it's been a while since I've seen that. Right? That was before. I haven't seen that in the map pool since before like grand finals of Overwatch League. It's been months. So I don't even know how that map plays anymore. Typically it was a very double sniper heavy map. Maybe that's changed. Maybe it hasn't. Who knows, right? Route 66, pretty good for the Sigma ball. You can see some double shield there eventually, or I shouldn't say eventually. I should say occasionally. And then you got your classic Rialto. That's definitely going to be Sigma ball. Very, very good point there for that. So yeah, no, I'm excited to see what they want to pull out here. Looks like we will be going to Rialto though, which makes sense. I know personally, Hoopa loves this map very much. The off tank from Absolute Monstrosity, former teammate of mine, very very good player, very smart guy, a very driven player, and he loves this map. He knows a lot of good places for that. He knows some like flux tech that you can do here, where you can like hide behind a certain platform but still have your still have the LOS of your flux going very, very far, so it makes it really easy to not get it canceled. Just a really, really smart player, and I'm excited to see what he pulls out on this map.
Very excited to see how these two teams play Rialto, and with the environmental kill potential, it'll be very interesting to see how teams play around that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what we get into here. Sigma Ball's been so good on here for so long, but like we can still see some variations here. I know teams that like to run Hanzo Ash here with a Mercy. I know teams that just stick for the classic Echo Tracer. Especially with Ash getting nerfed, I'll be excited to see what each of these teams wants to pull out here. I think the best comp you can run on here is probably going to be something along the lines of like Echo with the sniper. I think Echo Hanzo would be pretty good, to be honest. Both those characters very self-sufficient, can survive on their own. You can run the Brig Zen with it because neither of those characters need a damage boost to really get their value. And what it allows is you have a lot of control on off angles, right? You have your Brig, your Sig, your Zen on one angle, controlling that with a lot of damage with the Discord. And then you have your Ball going in with your Echo, and then you have that Hanzo just sitting on high ground, just plopping in damage, and it can be a really, really scary comp. But yeah, we'll have to see what each of these teams prefers.
Yeah, and as we go into it, many of those off angles are going to become essential in winning and controlling those fights. As we go in, it looks like Absolute Monstrosity is going to be attacking with Everfrost on the defense, and Everfrost is going to go with that Winston Diva dive with the double sniper and the Ana Zen here.
That's bold, to say the least. I definitely think you can find the value in it, right? I don't think Winston is terrible, but he's definitely not as good as Ball. Diva is not terrible, definitely I don't think is as good as Sigma. Dive with double sniper, this kind of just feels like they're picking comfort picks right now. But I say this a lot, we're not at a level of play where comfort picks like don't work, right? If they find enough value on their individual picks, it shouldn't really matter. It looks like they will be playing this comp correctly. They will be set up on a bunch of these off angles. So what you're going to see here is you're going to see these two dive tanks go in and buy time for their snipers to just get picks. But it's going to be very, very hard for them to survive against the damage that we see on the side of Absolute Monstrosity.
Absolutely, and Absolute Monstrosity has already pushed very far, and Everfrost does not have to give up a lot of that high ground. Jet Gravy all going up to challenge Golden Crow, and actually does manage to force them out, and Absolute Monstrosity is taking a lot of space here without any repercussions from Everfrost. Golden Crow does go in, goes very low, does manage to survive with the help of the Ana. Neither sniper is getting a lot of space to play here, so it's going to be difficult, and Absolute Monstrosity is going to be halted at this corner for now. However, Golden Crow and Rita just holding this angle with River Trash in the back. He's going to have the very early nano. The Jet Gravy is also going to have his window, and the nano does go into Golden Crow, and the window does come out, but Golden Crow is going to be denying a lot of that LOS. He goes for the Mercy in the back, has the primal needs to get out, but Scooter does take care of Rita's mech, but Blackstroke does get rid of tech. Golden Crow gets Donut Punch. A lot of Absolute Monstrosity is low, and it looks like Everfrost is going to be taking care of this fight with a win on that corner.
Yeah, very, very uncharacteristic lack of aggression there from Hoopa and the core of the roster of this double shield comp. Typically what you do there is you kind of leave your Orisa on cart, and everyone else just pushes high ground and gets that control. And we didn't see any high ground control from Everfrost. They were all on low ground in the courtyard. If they had gotten that high ground and had that Sigma shield up there on high ground, I don't think there was any way Absolute Monstrosity could have lost that fight, but instead they stay on low ground with their Orisa, and they just allow themselves to get poked out. A single nanoed Winston was able to pretty much win that fight because they were all together. And they're really going to have to find a way to change that.
And with the sights coming out from Blackstrokes, they're going to have to be really careful where they walk. The bongo from No Blood gets destroyed instantly, but Golden Crow tries to get in and gets absolutely melted. He's going to get taken down. And the side of Everfrost is not running a Mercy, so they're not going to be able to res that. Liam goes down to Tex, and Absolute Monstrosity is just going to be marching into this first point. Logan takes care of Scooter, and that's probably going to steal it.
still a chance for the recontest here. Logan, as you said, did find that pick. The res will come through. A lot of decisive ultimates here ready for this double shield comp. That plus is going to come out. Gonna hit both of the tanks. Gonna come out with that dragons from the Hanzo. The Trance not able to save them. Counter Dragon's not going to be enough, and yeah, Absolute Monstrosity is going to take it.
Absolute Monstrosity did invest a lot there. They used their Transcendence, they used their Dragon Strike, but so did Everfrost, who also used their Transcendence, they used their Dragon Strike. They are going to stick on this top here, they're just stalling a bit with this, and they are going to get cleaned up, and Absolute Monstrosity is going to go into second point.
River Trash was there stalling that point by himself for a good 5 seconds. That's what you like to see. Fellow Flex 4 players with the stones to survive. But, we're getting to this next fight. I have to give the advantage to Absolute Monstrosity here. They are doing the right thing here. They're pushing the high ground. They will have this Bob available, which is going to be really, really good at taking space for them, or even just heart pressure if they need it. Scooter is going to find Blackstroke. And like you mentioned before, no Mercy available. So that's a very, very big pick. No res will be available. But as I say that, two people are going to go down.
Push the low ground. Very awkward, and that's going to have to be a reset for Absolute Monstrosity. They left some members on the low ground, and the tanks of Everfrost were just able to just push in and take them out.
Big misplay there from Absolute Monstrosity. I didn't realize they weren't going to high ground. They were just pushing that low ground. I figured the Hans were just going to climb the wall, but he stayed down there and didn't take the angle over bridge. And now, this is a really dangerous position. This is one of the best spots to hold in the entire game, is this Rialto second. And now that they don't have the momentum of having won that first point, it's going to be really, really hard for Absolute Monstrosity to find a foothold here.
Scooter did find an early pick, and these opening picks from him have been essential. Tex in the back is going to get the pick onto Liam, but he's most likely going to die for his efforts. It's in a very awkward position. They're not going to be able to res that, and with the rest of Everfrost getting those kills, it looks like it's going to be another loss fight. A late nano does come onto Golden Crow, and that's going to seal it. Absolute Monstrosity did invest the Supercharger and the Bob there, but Everfrost did invest the Primal and the Nano.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we're seeing right now is Absolute Monstrosity is struggling to get aggressive with their ultimates. They popped the Supercharger, which, maybe they shouldn't have done, given the place they're in, but they weren't decisive with it. They kind of just threw it out there to throw it out there. They didn't push with it, they didn't do anything with it, they just threw it down and stayed in the same spot. If you're going to use an ult that's as good as Supercharger, use it to push, use it to be aggressive. Don't just throw it there defensively to deal with a Nano Winston. Use it for a purpose. This lack of purpose, lack of decision that we're seeing from Absolute Monstrosity is absolutely killing them against this composition that wants to play very split and stay alive.
And Logan is going to get the early pick on the Hanzo. It is going to get res, and Donut Puncher and No Blood is going to find a pick onto Golden Crow. The bomb is going to come out from Rita, but is he going to be able to remake? No, he's going to get taken out before he can. That's both tanks gone. Logan is going to find the pick onto Jet Gravies. He is going to find the pick onto Tex. He's popping off, but is it going to be enough? Probably not. Scooter finds the pick onto Black Strokes. The Dragon comes out from Logan. Gets the kill onto No Blood. It might be winnable here. He finds the pick onto Scooter. Golden Crow back. He has the Primal. He's not going to need it. And Logan just absolutely saves that point for Everfrost by himself.
Yeah, Logan 213, ladies and gentlemen. That's the name you're seeing in your kill feed right there. 4 picks in that fight. One of them was because someone just walked into his Dragon Strike. That, a kill is a kill. An elimination's an elimination. That player is no longer on the field. And really, really decisive play there from Hanzo. Getting that buff recently to his Storm arrows. And Logan's really putting on a show with his character so far. He's getting a pick, maybe even 2 per fight right now. That's exactly what you want out of your Hanzo.
Both Hanzos are absolutely putting on stellar performances right now. Koopa gonna bring out the Flux, but Golden Crow is gonna get the first pick on No Blood with the Primal Rage.
Oh, no one touches,
but they don't touch the point!
That's a bit of Charlie Niner.
Don't touch the point, and that's gonna be a Charlie Niner coming out here.
That is not what you like to see there, boys. That's not what you like to see there. You need to touch the point. I know, point's not the most important thing in the game, right? Most fights do take place off the point. At higher levels of Overwatch, map control is much more important. You win the fight and then you push the point after. But when you got 10 seconds left, someone's gotta take charge there and be like, yeah, I can touch point, right? So the rest of their team can go up there and and fight it out on high ground and get that high ground position, get that good position. But no, that communication's not there. And Scooter desperately tries to get there at the end, but he's unable to make it. And unfortunately, Absolute Monstrosity's push will end there on that second point. It'll be up to them now. They need, it's still not unwinnable for them. They could get a full hold, or they could, hold them at a better spot on second point. But still, definitely not how you want to end your first round on Rialto.
Absolutely, and there's gonna be a goal in mind for Everfrost for them to win this map and bring it to a final map 3. And I'm certain that Absolute Monstrosity don't want that. Everfrost look like they're gonna stick on that dive, and while Absolute Monstrosity going out on that double shield with the Hanzo Ash, the support's still picking, and it's gonna be the Baptiste and the Mercy coming out.
Yeah, no, definitely a very, very interesting comp. It looks like they're going to try to play around their DPS, which is a good idea considering that the tank role has basically been deleted in the last few patches. Not a lot of impact that your tanks can have in this current meta. A really, really interesting choice here. Hoopa57 is going to be on the low ground with his Orisa instead of on the high ground with his DPS. That's going to actually really, really hurt his DPS's ability to find kills here, because they won't have that survivability out of it.
Yeah, and Golden Crow is immediately going to take over that high ground. Both teams just poking at each other on the corner. Golden Crow drops. A lot of space gained for Everfrost. And Logan, once again, is going to take care of no blood. And Absolute Monstrosity just has to go running back because they are without their main tank.
Yeah, that was just a classic case of poor positioning there. They set up in the wrong spot, and it allowed Everfrost to take really, really good positions for free. And, once that happens, it becomes really hard to formulate a good defense, and now it's just all going to fall apart here on this first point.
Yeah, Everfrost pushing it very aggressively here, just finding those kills and just causing a snowball here. They're going to get the first point without having to use any ults here. Tech's the last surviving member on point, but he's most likely going to get swiftly dispatched, and Everfrost is going to move into the second point and the final point of this map with 5 minutes in the time bank.
Yeah, no, this is, this gives us an important lesson about Overwatch. The best comp doesn't just win, you still have to play it correctly. The comp that Everfrost is running right now is honestly really bad. This is an absolutely horrible composition, but they're just playing it better than the side of Absolute Monstrosity, and because of that, they're finding a lot more value.
Yeah, and Absolute Monstrosity switching over to the Winston Zarya here to try and take some space. So Dragon Strike is going to come out from Logan. He's going to find one kill onto Koopa. Golden Crow gets the kill onto Donut Puncher, and the kills just come through for Everfrost. They're going to be rolling into this final point, and it's going to be dubious if Absolute Monstrosity can even get a touch. Koopa is going to come out, but he's not going to be able to get a touch. Gets instantly dispatched by that Discord Orb. And this looks like it's going to be the end of the map, and Everfrost take a commanding 2-0 lead over Absolute Monstrosity.
I mean, that's just not pretty. That's not what you like to see. You need to be putting your composition better. You need to be playing your composition correctly. The way Double Shield wants to play isn't actually that different from the pick composition, right? You can think of this pick composition as a comp that wants to play a ton of different angles, wants to have a bunch of DPS and a bunch of different locations, and with their Sigma helping out, and a Roadhog if that's the thing, on another off angle, or the ball in the back line, something like that, right? Double Shield plays very, very similar. The only difference is you have an Orisa posted up on the card at all times, right? That's like the only difference, right? Your Sigma's still on off angles, doesn't play with the main tank, right? Your Baptiste should be with your Sigma doing damage, finding picks that way. Baptiste does an absolute truckload of damage if you're hitting your shots, right? It's a very, very good character. You want your Zen to be with your Sigma as well. You want your DPS on off angles. You want to be finding picks that way. But Absolute Monstrosity is taking a double shield composition, and they're putting it together all on top of each other. They're all playing in the same spot. And it's really affecting them because this more divey, more survivable composition from Everfrost is just coming from a bunch of different angles, buying time for their snipers in the backline to find value, and just getting picks on their own because the rotations are not there for Absolute Monstrosity. Everfrost is just dominating right now, and Absolute Monstrosity needs to take a step back, figure out what's wrong, and make some changes if they want to get back into this game.
Absolute Monstrosity on map 3 here. Very awkward situation. If they want to win, they are going to have to reverse sweep, and with the next map being a hybrid with our map pool of Eichenwald, Blizzard World, and Hollywood, they're going to have to make this map pick count if they want to keep the series going.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I think this is going to be very hard for them. They've kind of shown they don't have the Sigma ball in their toolkit. They keep opting for this double shield, so I don't think Blizzard World would be a very, very good pick for them, as it is a very, very ball-heavy map. Bolt just really, really good on that point. Just a lot of places he can come from. If they do want to opt for this double shield, I would probably Eichenwald's a good spot to full hold with the double shield composition. If they're going to play it like they did before, though, I wouldn't recommend that. Hollywood's probably going to be their best bet. If they want to play all grouped up, there's places on Hollywood that they can stack and still find some value. But honestly, what they need to do is recognize that their positioning is off and fix it if they want to have a chance to get back in this game.
Absolutely. And Absolute Monstrosity are really going to have to get their mental fortitude together and rally up if they want to defeat Everfrost. And Everfrost just looking absolutely dominant on those first two maps. And we saw that one fight with Logan, which Absolute Monstrosity most likely was going to get that second point, but he just turned it around and Everfrost was able to hold after that. And Absolute Monstrosity can't be feeling good after losing that map with the C9 as well.
Yeah, no, that's got to be a hit to the mental. Overwatch is a very, very mental game, just like any competitive sport. But, you can't let that get to you, right? It's got to just be like a one and done, like, oh well, right? You just move on. Just think the way I always think about situations like these is don't think about it like we're down 2-0, right? Think about it like, the game has just started and we need to 3-0 for bragging rights purposes, right? That's what you got to think about it, right? You can't think about the fact that you're about to lose. Think about we're going to win the next 3 maps. That's what you got to focus on if you want to get your heads back in the game.
Absolutely. The mental fortitude must come in huge, and Everfrost probably needs to keep their heads down, needs to keep their ego in check to make sure they don't absolutely throw and get reverse swept. That would be very awkward, and it looks like we are going to go into Blizzard World for our hybrid pick here.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I don't think this is a very, very good pick for Absolute Monstrosity. There was a time when Double Shield was really, really good here. If you think back to those Overwatch League summer tournaments with the May Melee and what was the June one called?
Most likely the Summer Showdown.
Summer Showdown, that was it. Yeah, very, very good name there. We saw that the composition of the Bat Brig Double Shield become very, very popular there, and it was really, really good on this map, especially that first point because it could rotate so easily. But those days are kind of gone. There's been enough balance changes that the Double Shield really does not hold up here. Especially the version that Absolute Monstrosity has been running. They haven't been running the Bat Brig. They've been running Bat Zen, Bat Mercy, right? So I definitely don't think this favors them as much as they think it does. I think Everfrost is just going to put on another clinic here with their ball Sigma composition, and they're going to run away with this one.
And Everfrost going to make the sub in here. Black Stroke coming in to the roster, and the hit scan DPS coming in. Is this going to affect Everfrost's play?
Well, we can't. Again, it is preseason, so we can't affect we can't
predict.
We can't think about it we can't. That's the word I'm looking for. Words are very, very hard.
Yes, they are.
Yes, we can't really predict what they're going to play. We don't really know. They are known for their tracer. At least that's what they put on the team cards. So very, very. Probably a pretty good tracer, but it's also possible that Everfrost is just putting in subs because they just think they have this game in the bag, right? Blackstroke might not even be considered a starter at all, and this may just be like we'll give the low-ranked guys some play time against an opponent we can beat. So we'll have to see when we get into the match, though.
We'll have to see, and and on Blizzard World, it looks we are going to go into this map. The hybrid map consists. I don't know where I'm going with that tangent.
Happens to the best of us. Don't even worry about it.
The setup are going to be coming in from both teams.
It looks like we will be seeing double sniper again, which is a little bit strange. Was Blackstroke in last map? I think Keandre's the one who's coming in. Keandre's the one who's coming in this one. Blackstroke was. They just swapped him. Well, no, it's really weird. I think they took Blackstroke out, put Keandre in, and then took Logan out, and then put Blackstroke back in. Because Blackstroke Logan was definitely in the spot that Blackstroke did.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know what's going on with Everfrost right now. They're doing some very, very funky things. Maybe it's like a ritual that they do or something. I wouldn't know. But they are going to be running out here with Bat Brig Double Shield, which I just said wasn't very good. Maybe they heard me and want to prove me wrong. That's fair. I'm kind of an idiot. It would make sense they want to make me look stupid on broadcast. But we'll have to see how they because I personally don't think this comp is that good. I think it struggles really, really hard against the Sigma Ball composition, but, you know, lucky for them, that's not what they're running into, so maybe they'll find value anyway.
Yes, an absolute monstrosity with the hog going to be routing under. I don't think Everfrost are going to see this, but they are going to scout it out. Now Tex just going to the backline and instantly gets shot by every single member of Everfrost and gets taken down. And that's going to be an early pickoff, and Everfrost is just going to take that advantage and push with it, or not.
Yeah, no, a lot of people know that Tracer is kind of a glass cannon, seeing a bit more glass there than we are cannon from Tex, and just melted immediately. Not really what you like to see if you're the Tracer player. It doesn't really feel that good to just get absolutely dominated like that. But, you know, you win some, you lose some, you get back. If they want to find the value here, I think Tex is their piece that they need to get in place, because he can put so much pressure on these snipers that they really can't do anything about it. Neither Hanzo nor Widow have stuns, so they have to find a way to just hit the shot on a Tracer. That can be really hard with a very tiny hitbox.
Yeah, and this is going to be a very awkward situation, especially in terms of ult percentage. No Blood is going to get stunned up, and once again shot by every single member of Everfrost. Their target prioritization on point, and with two very decisive fights in the favor of Everfrost, Absolute Monstrosity's ult economy isn't exactly looking too great. Neither of their DPS combined have gotten to a single ult. Both of Everfrost DPS have their ults ready, locked, and loaded. And with no Blood going over to the Orisa, this is only going to hurt their ult economy more. And it might be too early to call this a snowball, but maybe we could call this a snowball.
I mean, you know, it doesn't really bode well for you when your Sigma has more damage done than both of your DPS combined. And Absolute Monstrosity, I mean, Hoopa's a great player. I gotta give him that. He's obviously gonna find the damage. But these DPS from Absolute Monstrosity need to be in position. They need to be finding more value. Tex has gotten caught out both times he's been in now. Losing duels to a Widow, not really what you want to see out of your Tracer. They need to find a way to find this value, or else it's gonna be a really, really bad loss.
Yeah, and with this Amp Matrix coming out from River, it's going to be very hard for Absolute Monstrosity to push into this. They are just going to route around the other side, but it's not. It doesn't look like they're going to get any ground. Scooter does take care of Blackstroke, and Tex is going to take care of Crazy Mage with the Nano Boost coming in from Donut Puncher. Jet Gravy also has the Trans here. The Stick also coming out from Tex, and Absolute Monstrosity are actually going to take this first point, so it was too early to call this a snowball. And in addition, Everfrost did actually commit ults there. The Flux, the Sights, and the Trans, the Window were all committed in that fight. So ult economy looking a bit better here for Absolute Monstrosity, but still not great.
Yeah, no, it's more even than it was, and that pick is definitely actually going to help with now the healing being gone for this. I'm surprised we're seeing a double shield mirror, to be completely honest. Like, Ball was the character that didn't get touched. I'm shocked neither of these teams are going to play him here. A couple of picks come back, actually. Well, that's not what you like to see.
Both snipers finding counter picks, but Absolute Monstrosity are going to have the closer spawn, so it is going to most likely be an even fight going into this early point A. They are just going to be pushing hard here with Everfrost taking position on the high ground. Tex is on that flank angle behind. Let's see if he gets spotted out and punished once again.
Ooh, Blood there with a little bit of a bad shield. Now won't be able to stay on card as easily. That's not good. The Flux comes out. We'll see how much it gets. Won't find anything. The high field is there, and Blackstroke is as well, finding three.
Four pick Blackstrokes. It's just absolutely popping off. Finds 5. And he's not going to get the 6k, but that's a 5k, and that's pretty good in my book.
Yeah, that's, you know, you can't ask for much more there out of your Widow. Definitely got the damage boost assist there on some of those tanks, but still a very, very nice showing there from Blackstroke. And now Everfrost is comfortably in position here to take this. 2 minutes remaining here for Absolute Monstrosity. They're going to have to formulate a push, but right now the positional advantage is completely in favor of this double shield, double sniper combo.
Yeah, and with both DPS ults up for Everfrost, it's going to confirm the kill onto Scooter, and the sights coming up from Blackstroke. 2 down already for Absolute Monstrosity. It looks like it's going to be yet another reset for them here. They are going to have ults pushing into this. They are going to have the Supercharger and the Bob for that presence on point. Tex is most likely going to get his Pulse Bomb. Donut is going to have that Nano Boost, but with only a minute 45, they're going to have to make good use of these ults if they want to get to that point B.
Yeah, the benefit of this Bob, though, is something that it's really, really good for is being that 7th man. The ability to push Cart as an ultimate is really, really good. So what they can do here is they can put Bob on Cart to help push it a little bit, right? And then they can put the rest of their roster up on that high ground and basically set up a somewhat of a crossfire that can split the resources. But the big thing that's hurting Absolute Monstrosity right now is that they're not waiting for Tex to get in position before they decide to do anything. So Tex is taking a really long time to get in the back line, and they're going before he's ready. So they're not actually able to find any value.
No Blood goes to half, jumps in anyways, and gets picked off, but Tex finds River with the Pulse Bomb. Blackstroke instantly going to take care of the Bob, so that point presence is going to be gone. Keandre finds Tex, the big flux coming out from Rita, but the trance comes out from Jet Gravy to save their team. Both teams are still absolutely in this fight, and the Nano and Donut Puncher still has some mana, but with no Winston for it to go into, it's going to be... They're most likely going to have to wait for Winston to come back, but as he does, Jet Gravy goes down, but No Blood finds Blackstroke. Keandre finds Scooter. It's a back-and-forth fight for both teams. Donut Puncher still holding on to that Nano, but Everfrost do have both support out, so Window comes out from River Trash. No Blood gets absolutely melted, but Tex triggers Wrecking Ball back. It's just back and forth from both teams. The Nano goes on to Tex as Donut Puncher dies, but the Transcendence and the Dragon Strike are still there for Everfrost. It looks like the fight has calmed down significantly, though. Everfrost still holding on, and it's going to be final fight for Absolute Monstrosity. They are going to have to touch this cart with 7 seconds left.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them. That's a lot of ultimates available for Everfrost, and I think this is where we're going to see it fall. But as I say that, Jet Gravy's going to find Crazy Mage, Scooter's going to find Blackstroke. This is actually winnable, especially with that pulse coming out.
No Blood gets taken down, but 4 kills coming in. Scooter with 3 of them off, with Jet Gravy getting those assists. And as we say that, once again, Absolute Monstrosity prove us wrong and just push into point B.
Yeah, they only have 1 minute 30 seconds left, so definitely not a comfortable victory there. But, you know, it really feels like it came down to the fact that, you know, the members of Everfrost got a little bit out of position there, got a little bit cocky, and were able to get picked off by Absolute Monstrosity. Probably won't make the same mistake twice on this 3rd point here. And now, you know, this composition here from Absolute Monstrosity is not really suited for this point. You know, the Winston Sigma is not good already, but especially Winston on this point is not very good at all. So they're going to really, really struggle to find some value here with only a minute remaining in this match.
Yeah, Tex is in the backline, though. He has that open harmony, but Blackstroke with the sights is most likely going to scout him out, and that's going to slow down Absolute Monstrosity's push even more. Blackstroke's on this off angle. Can he find the picks? He's going to get actually taken down as Tex also takes down Wrecking Ball. Keandre and Rita trade it back, though, but Scooter's Bob gets the kill on the Rita.
That trans?
Bit of an awkward Transcendence, though. Wrecking Ball is back on the Wrecking Ball. But the picks are coming in for Absolute Monstrosity. He does get Donut Puncher, so that's a lot of healing gone. So Absolute Monstrosity are going to have to play a bit more careful. No Blood Soldiers knocking people around with that Primal Rage in the back. Rita does get Scooter with the Flux. Absolute Monstrosity don't have the kills. As I say that, No Blood Soul does get Blackstroke, but Keandre now on the Reaper is going to get No Blood Soul back in return. The trans comes out from Jet Gravy. Both balls Cloud Drive. The lamp is out from Everfrost. The OT gets triggered. Everfrost look like they have these kills to secure the point, and it looks like they are gonna hold. The Nano Boost does come out on Koopa. Scooter does find Crazy Mage, so Absolute Monstrosity doesn't have a chance, but with No Blood No Soul getting taken down and Koopa getting taken down, it's looking real grim, and it looks like Absolute Monstrosity is gonna get held on point C, but much better than what we had anticipated going into that first point.
Absolutely. That is definitely, you know, not perfect, but it's still good, right? You get 2 points. You're pretty comfortably on there. Pretty much all you have to do here is stop them at, you know, one of the first 2 points, and you're able to get back in this game. You know, it doesn't have to be a full hold. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough to send it to a map 4 and give them new life. And it kind of felt like Everfrost got sloppy there. I think they got a little bit cocky by the fact they were kind of just dominating, and they ended up making a lot of positional errors that Absolute Monstrosity did an excellent job punishing. If there was someone out of position, they died very, very quickly. Absolute Monstrosity was on the ball with that one, able to pull it out there. And again, like we're just gonna have to see Absolute Monstrosity find that second wind here and be able to punish those mistakes from Everfrost if they want to get back in this match, because right now they're not running these comps better than Everfrost is. Everfrost is winning and dying by how many mistakes that they make. And if they can, stop making the mistakes they were making on that last fight, they can definitely get back in this one.
Everfrost does control their own destiny there, and they've decided that the destiny should be controlled with a Bastion Reinhardt comp with the Moira and the Ana. Bit of an interesting pick here with Absolute Monstrosity on that double shield Tracer Ashe, just the standard we've seen, and it looks like Everfrost is going to try running this Bastion. Nope, not the Bastion, just the Rein Zarya.
The Rein Zarya still isn't very good though. I think that they can make it work if they play fast enough, but against even into double shield actually, I think they can still find the value. But right now we do actually see Absolute Monstrosity doing what I asked them to do on Rialto, playing split, and it's going to be really hard for the Brawl to be able to take care of the Monster and those people on offense.
But that's very awkward. No blood just gets speed boost into by Wrecking Ball, and Absolute Monstrosity just get absolutely collapsed on Scooter and Keandre trade each other. But Everfrost is just ticking up that point percentage, getting that Tex is going to get stunned up and killed, and that's a very quick first point for Everfrost, and they're just going to keep pushing this advantage into the first point.
Yeah, they're probably just going to leave their Lucio on cart and then go push the high ground here. Get set up there early before Absolute Monstrosity has a chance to respawn. But it actually looks like they're just going to stay on point here. That's an interesting decision. I don't necessarily endorse that. Looks like they finally will be pushing the high ground, but now Absolute Monstrosity is set up there. So it's definitely going to be much harder to push into. These shields are really, really good against this Brawl comp, and in a sight line like this where you can play far back and let the Brawl come to you. It's going to be really, really hard now for Everfrost to find a foothold on this point, because they're going to be forced onto this lane.
Yeah, that speed boost tactic from last time most likely not going to work. We are going to get a pause here as we go into that first fight. It looks like a player has disconnected. As we wait for that coming in, the ult economy for Absolute Monstrosity isn't great, as we saw last round. Wrecking Ball 70% to that shatter. No one on Absolute Monstrosity even close. Donut Puncher, the only close one, with 51% to his nano, and this is going to be very awkward for Absolute Monstrosity, even with the double shield.
Yeah, I think I think there are questions about what they can do, but I think the big thing that we have to look at here, they're in the position that they want here. They're on this high ground. They're not playing as split as they need to be, but they definitely are in a good spot here against this Brawl composition. This Rein and this Zarya can do absolutely nothing right now on this low ground. They're literally just sitting there to get shot at. So they have an opportunity here to win this fight. I think the big thing that we're going to see, though, Donut Puncher on this Ana, Donut Puncher is doing fine on the Ana, but Ana just doesn't give your team enough resources in this double shield comp. That eye field is a really, really powerful ability with this double shield, because it just is a survival cooldown rotation of these shields, the fortify, the grasp, the eye field there. If that rotation messes up, having that luxury of that eye field is really, really important to this comp. And because they don't have it, I think they're going to struggle in the more brawly fights.
Absolutely. Donut Puncher, if he lands a big anti-nade, that could be the turning of the fight, though. We have the reconnect, and Blackstroke gonna go over to that Ashe. Wrecking Ball gets discorded up, passed it back off. Absolute Monstrosity is holding this high ground. Keandre gets picked off during the rotation. That's a lot of damage on for Everfrost. Absolute Monstrosity is holding this high ground very well, just denying a lot of positioning and making Everfrost push into that. Everfrost already taken up though. Scooter has the bob, but Hoopa does get forced off the high ground. Wrecking Ball with the shatter looking for it. It's getting constantly pulled back, stunned. The life of a Reinhardt main gets taken down, but Blackstroke gets Tex in return. Keandre gonna find Scooter with the counter kill. It's pretty even for both teams, but no, with Everfrost finding the pitch, it looks like that they're gonna have a one fight.
Why are you nanoing? Donut Puncher there with a very questionable nana. Hoopa, I know more than anyone that Hoopa is a very, very talented player, but I don't think he's going to win a 1v5 even with the nano there. He is going to fall there. That will be point 2 going to Everfrost. They're rolling in with a 5-minute time bank and some ults to spare. They are not pulling any punches here on this third map of this battle.
Absolutely not, and that wasted nano might come back to bite Absolute Monstrosity. They have 2 ults. But Everfrost has 3 in return, and Crazy Mage almost to that barrier. Kino gets the pick onto Donut Puncher, and that's going to be so much free space for Absolute Monstrosity going into this final point. The Astro just opening on that high ground. Blackstroke is going to win out. The hammer laid down, gets Scooter on the ground. Are they going to be able to keep him up? They're not going to be able to keep him up. Wrecking Ball does give his life, so that's the main tank down. And it looks like Everfrost are just going to play a bit slow here. Tex does take out Blackstroke. So Everfrost look like they're just going to be heading back to spawn for a quick reset here. Absolute Monstrosity did invest a supercharger, but that's all they had to do, and with a Shatter for a supercharger, that's probably the best trade they could have asked for.
Yeah, what they're going to need now is they're definitely going to combo this Grab Dragon too. They need to be aware of this Transcendence from Jet Gravy. But if River Trash can find the Nano and then get an anti on a couple people, I definitely think they can still find the kills off of it. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. I expect the Nano run to come out here. There it is. But this fight's underway.
Very early, the grab comes out from Greta. Keandre has not Dragon, so they're not going to use that combo. An absolute Monstrosity are actually going to be able to survive that still ults, but Keandre is going to get Tex. No blood goes down, and that's 2 members down for Absolute Monstrosity. They're just trying to hold on here. The bomb is
River Trash is front fighting. Okay,
fine. River Trash trying to frontline for his team. Wrecking Ball on that Reinhardt. A lot of members of Everfrost are low. No blood, no soul gets the pin onto Wrecking Ball. He's holding this point by himself. It looks like they're stabilizing a bit here with picks coming in. Scooter on the Doomfist is going to come out. Everfrost don't have tanks. They're not going to be able to push in. It's a very messy fight. Kills trading back and forth, but it looks like Absolute Monstrosity are going to hold this point for now.
Yeah, I was really concerned about their River Trash trying to front line there, and it did end up coming back to bite them. They were going for a Nano. They slept the Bob, or not the Nano, the Anti-Nade. They were going for big Anti-Nade, but they just ended up getting picked. And, without that healing from your Ana there, the Lucio is not going to be enough to keep your team up in a sustained fight. You need the heals of the Ana there. And once that pick comes through, Absolute Monstrosity wins it. Not comfortably, but pretty easy.
Yeah, and with that kill onto Blackstroke by Tex, it's going to waste even more time. And the time back has been cut in half. Ults are up for both teams. Hoopa does have the Flux, and Wrecking Ball is almost to a Shatter. Keandre almost has that Dragon, and River Trash is going to have that Nano. Scooter does get the early pick onto River Trash, so no Nano for Everfrost. They're just going to go past them. Hoopa is going to be using the Flux here. He can't get any kills, but Scooter is going to take down Wrecking Ball. That's another one fight for Absolute Monstrosity. They do use the Nano, and it looks like it's going to be a 6 ult push coming in from Everfrost this next fight.
Yeah, they will have quite a sizable ult economy, but Jet Gravy has that trans, and if he can use it well enough, then it should be okay. Obviously the concern there is the Grab Dragons, but there's still a Shatter to worry about and the Bob as well. So Everfrost in the driver's seat right now, but given how their last few pushes went, their Mental's probably a bit underwhelmed, and now
Scooter with the huge picks. As Logan did in the past round, Scooter on that Hanzo is just putting the team on his back, getting these crucial picks and wasting so much time. We're already down to under a minute 30. That 5-minute time back has dwindled so quickly.
Yeah, and that'll also allows the ult economy to balance out a little more. No Blood, No Soul is going to get a Shatter of his own here. The Scooter will have the Dragon Strike as well.
Tex with the Deadeye onto Blackstroke, but an absolutely massive Shatter, but No Blood stays alive, gets the counter Shatter, stops a lot of that follow-up coming on from Absolute Monstrosity, but they're not going to be able to touch. And that's going to be a win on the map and a win in the series for Everfrost.
Yeah, Everfrost there was... I feel like they played better overall. There were some moments there from Absolute Monstrosity, especially on that last map where they sought to bring it back. And they almost had it, but overall, Everfrost was just a better team tonight, coming up with a clean 3-0 victory. I shouldn't say clean, that last map was pretty close, but still, they felt like they were in control of the match the entire time. I never really felt like they were in a position where they could lose. It really felt like they were losing due to their own mistakes rather than anything that Absolute Monstrosity was doing. Absolute Monstrosity, their coordination was a little bit off tonight. They just weren't finding the value. They weren't talking to each other, it felt like, the way that Everfrost was. Everfrost seemed to be very, very in sync. They seemed to know what their teammates were doing. And that level of communication is very, very key as you get into these higher levels of play in Overwatch. This is a Masters tournament now. This communication is key, and Absolute Monstrosity is definitely going to have to work on that as we get into the regular season. But, Everfrost they're the champions. They're the victors. Coming home with a clean 3-0. And now we have to decide who our player of the match is that we can get in here for an interview.
Absolutely. And what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think Logan played very, very well, but they were only in for one map. I think the DPS from Everfrost were just very, very good. Blackstroke, Logan, and Keandre all had their moments. Played very, very, very well. I think Wrecking Ball did a very, very good job on the Wrecking Ball, and also on the Orisa, on the Ryan. Played a very, very good job. Did a very, very good job. Tank's a very, very hard role to play right now, as it is. There's not a lot of value you can get out of the aren't very good right now, but Wrecking Ball is still finding a lot of value on the characters that he put in. I think River Trash did an excellent job, but he wasn't frontlining on Ana. Sports very, very important role. And if you have good sports behind you, it can be very, very easy to win games. So it looks like now we will be getting River Trash in here for our interview, the Flex Sport from Everfrost.
Absolutely, and what an incredible performance for him. Hello, River Frost, and congratulations on your win today.
Hey, thanks, man.
So my first question for you guys is, obviously Owlet hasn't done Masters tournaments before, so you guys are new faces to the scene. How'd you hear about Owlet, and what made you want to get into it?
Our boy Rook, he just kind of threw us in right in the middle. We were just looking for tournaments to hit up, so he found you guys and threw us in.
Absolutely great. And then with the commanding 3-0 victory over Absolute Monstrosity, what do you think was the main deciding factor in winning so many of those fights so decisively and getting that clean 3-0 sweep?
Honestly, creating space for our DPS. Like you guys saw, Blackstroke, absolute monster. Hitting that 5K. I mean, it changed the whole tide of the game.
Was that an intentional pun? Because you're playing after Monstrosity? I like you. You're a fun guy.
Thank you.
My next question for you guys is going to be, where'd you guys come from before this? Because, I do recognize Rook's name. I've seen him around a couple servers, Simplicity, Mock Overwatch League, most namely. But where's your team from? Where is the core of your roster? Where'd you guys find each other?
We actually all tried out for a team called Art Giota, something like that. It was like a 40-man tryout. We got picked up as the main 6-stack.
Wow.
And we didn't really like the management, so our guy Crow, he came in and was like, I have a friend that's runs like 2 or 3 teams. Maybe he'll pick us up. He hooked us up with Rook, and we've been going ever since.
Wow, what a great story. And you guys how long have you guys been playing together now then?
I think 3 months.
Wow.
Off and on. Yeah. That's
pretty good. That's it's good synergy to build there. My last question for you is going to be, obviously, you were chosen for the interview as our player of the match, but is there anyone else on your team that you want to shout out? Anyone who, maybe doesn't show up in the kill feed as often? Maybe they're a big name in comms, maybe your coaches, maybe your staff, anyone like that you want to give a quick shout out to before we go?
I got a couple. First off, Rook, absolute madman. Dude sacrifices everything for the team, and he doesn't even play for us. Like, it's unreal. Another player, I could name all 9 of us, honestly. Everybody is cracked. It's great.
All right.
Great to see that positivity coming out from Riverfrost for his teammates. Once again, big congratulations on that win tonight. Clean 3-0 sweep. And yeah, thank you for coming to talk to us.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, dude.
All right, and that is going to wrap it up here for preseason of Owlet 3.9. We will have another game tomorrow and 2 more games on Sunday night, so definitely be sure to check those out. But that's going to be all for this production. We've got everything wrapped up. For those of you that are just joining us, Everfrost took the clean 3-0 sweep over their opponent's Absolute Monstrosity, look poised and ready for the regular season. Do you have any parting words there, Razor?
Not particularly, just look forward to these next games. The preseason is really going to determine how these teams stack up against each other, and I'm looking forward to a lot of these matches.
All right, well then that is going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming, and have a great night.
Every time we say goodbye, they all see that it's a lie. 'Cause we always give it one last try. Yeah, you've watched me break 1,000 times. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. just wanna be happy, happy tonight. Happier tonight. Happier tonight. Can't be waiting for you in the morning. I'ma leave without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a. But every time we say goodbye, we all know that it's a lie. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. Let's let it go. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy.